Hey everybody, Nate Carter here with today's Cornerstone Connection Daily Devotional. I want you to try to think back about a time when you were mistreated, when something unfair was happening to you. Perhaps it's sometime recently, maybe it's a major thing, maybe it's a minor thing. Perhaps you can think back to a time that was maybe a little bit more scarring to you and that stays in the back of your mind. At times like that, it can be helpful to use the Psalms to guide you through a prayer with and an interaction with the Lord. And Psalm 17 gives us a bit of a guide for that. This is a Psalm of David, and this is a time when he's been pursued by King Saul. He's worried for his life. This is before David had his huge screw ups, his huge sinful mess ups. He's by no means perfect, but he's still following God very, very closely, and is crying out to God because he's being mistreated. It's unfair. He says, "Oh Lord, hear my plea for justice." And I'll just pause there to remind us that God is a God of justice. That matters to him, and so David and we can prevail upon the justice of God when we're being mistreated. Listen to my cry for help. Pay attention to my prayer, for it comes from honest lips. Declare me innocent, for you see those who do right. David's making his case to God that he's done right in God's eyes. What he's being subjected to is unfair. You have tested my thoughts and examined my heart in the night. You have scrutinized me and found nothing wrong. So again, David's not sinless, but he knows that his heart is in the right place. And he furthermore knows, and we should know, that God examines our inmost heart. He knows what's going on in our thoughts and in our intentions. And David's saying, I've done my best to follow you and to do what is right. Verse 6, I'm praying to you because I know you will answer, O God. What a bold statement. Trusting in the promises and the character of God. And I like to use these words as well when I'm crying out to God to say, you know what? I'm going to trust that you will answer, oh God. Bend down and listen as I pray. Show me your unfailing love in wonderful ways. By your power, you rescue those who seek refuge from their enemies. So again, we have an opportunity to call out to God and count on him to rescue us. Now, we know that God's timing is not our timing. And I certainly have stories of times where God came through for me even before I had to endure much. But there are lots of stories in my life, and I know in yours as well, when God allowed you to go through a time of suffering and mistreatment before he brought deliverance. Perhaps you're in the midst of it now. There's no guarantee for how long that time will even be, but we trust that God can and will rescue us. And then in verse 14, David says, by the power of your hand, O Lord, destroy those who look to this world for their reward. And a couple things there. First of all, he's saying, you know what? You have the power to come in and to destroy these wrongdoers. And we have permission to call God to do that. Again, he's God of justice, right? And so we can ask him to do that, and perhaps he will. And then by the power of your hand, O Lord, destroy those who look to this world for their reward. We've seen this a couple times already in the book of Psalms, that there's a reminder that this world is not where our ultimate reward is. And then in verse 15, we see kind of an extension of that, and this is beautiful. He says, because I am righteous, I will see you. When I awake, I will see you face to face and be satisfied. And this word awake here is really an allusion to after he's died and he's been resurrected into the next life. It's a rare occurrence in the Old Testament where we see resurrection, the theme of resurrection. It's not the only occurrence, but it's not nearly as common as in the New Testament. So David has his hope in eternity, and so must we. And let me leave you with that as you struggle, as you're mistreated, as you're dealing with injustice and unfairness in your own life, remember that we're looking toward a future that is beyond this world, and that one day the God of justice will make all things right. We need to remember that that's our timeline and hold to that and trust our God. God bless you. We'll see you next time on the Cornerstone Connection.